All right, everyone. So I'm here with Jay Eckardt, coming out of British Columbia, Vancouver. He's a glassblower. He's a musician. How you doing, Jay?
Very good. How are you?
Nice, man. I'm doing great. It's really great to be able to speak with you today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure of mine. I'm happy I can be here and talk with you about my work.
Let's talk about it, man. How'd you get into it? You're a glassblower. I've seen some of your designs. They're not simple designs. It looks pretty advanced. So you're in the game, man. How long have you been in the game for?
Actually, not as long as you might think. I think I'm on my 4th or 5th year now. I kind of got into glassblowing from an artist. It was a friend of a friend situation. A friend of a friend of mine knew a glassblower. I had back in the day, back in high school, is actually when I really got into glassblowing. Not as an artist, but just when I took interest in it. There's a couple of really cool shops, old heady shops in Vancouver. One of them being Puff, who now I do a lot of work with, which is really cool. And the BCMP, BC Marijuana Party bookstore, that was owned by Mark Emery of some fame or whatever. But I saw a lot of really cool pieces back then, and it blew my mind. I had these old school heady dries that were pretty wavy and looked like space, and they had the wigwags on the front of the pipes, and I was like blown away. And right away I wanted one, and I carried it around with me wherever I went and whatnot. I really grew an attachment to these and grew a little collection, but fortunately throughout the time and whatnot, a couple of them got broken, a couple of them got sold by cops.
Yep.
The way she goes. But
the way it goes, we always break them and lose a couple, but they go throughout rotation.
Yeah. So later on in my life, after high school, I had an option. I wanted to get into glassblowing, but I just didn't know how. Like, it wasn't any schools or anything for it. You really had to know someone. I heard there was a place down. There's a place called Commercial Drive in Vancouver. It's a pretty well-known neighborhood, really artsy, and it's kind of.
Can you repeat the neighborhood?
It's called Commercial Drive. It's kind of known as Little Italy, funny enough, but it's got a really vibrant art culture. Probably the best in the city, to be honest.
Really? I'm going to have to check it out when I go down there.
Yeah, if you're ever out here, definitely check it out. But there was a place down there that was doing classes, but I just couldn't get, for some reason or another, I couldn't get it in there. It was going to be a hassle, and
were they too expensive? Did they need you to go all week?
Yeah, there was a little bit. Like I was just out of high school, was driving, and the time. I'm in a beach town that's outside of Vancouver by an hour, so it'd be kind of coming in, coming out. And I was really into guitar building at the time, and getting into trying to be a musician.
Nice, man.
There's a school actually on Vancouver Island over in this place called Qualicum, called Summit School of Guitar Building and Repair. And they had a bunch of courses, and I ended up doing that. It was between guitar building and glassblowing, and I took guitar building for a while. And I worked. I did their longest course they had, which was a year course. After that, I worked for a company called Sparrow Guitars. They made pretty nice. Well, they got like Chinese guitars, and they stripped them down, and they remodded them, and they did pinstriping on them. And I was kind of their setup guy.
Nice, man, nice.
It was fun. It was owned by Billy Bones is the guy, and he was a really rockabilly kind of guy. So it was fun working there. Really, really cool atmosphere.
You miss it?
I do. I do miss working with guitars a lot. I mean, it's totally different. But
why'd you stop making guitars?
Yeah. Well, after I worked for Sparrow, I worked for an acoustic company called Larrabee, who do actually, they've got a factory down in LA now. And they make some of the best acoustics, factory-built acoustics, in my mind. They're like next to Taylor and Martin, whatever.
Okay.
But I was able to work with them for a while, and I learned a lot of stuff while working there. And then I tried my hand at my own kind of thing. I wasn't getting paid enough there. So I was like, okay, let's do it ourselves. And you know what? It's a lot easier to sell glass than it is to sell a guitar, funny enough. It was tough. I like struggled for a little bit with it. I did a lot of repairs for other guitars and whatnot. I made a pretty good business out of that. But I only sold a handful of guitars, maybe 25 or 35 in the end of it.
That's still pretty sweet, man. You still took it upon yourself to, from the ground up, make guitars and sell them. So, you know, obviously
it was really fun, and it was really rewarding. And like to make especially if you're making like acoustics or arch tops, where you really like it's a little bit more in depth than classic electric. It really takes a fine hand to be able to do it. But
what were some of the complications you learned, man, about the guitars? Just because I'm really interested in that, and I want to get more into everything else, man. You got a really interesting background there. So you were making guitars and learning glass blowing. It sounds like you said, "Hey, I'm going to do what inclines me to go out and just start doing," and you started doing that. I mean, guitars, glass blowing, and then it just sounds like you're doing your thing.
Yeah, I was always kind of an artistic kid. Before that, I would draw, whatnot, and even like it's funny. Like I do a lot of mushroom themed class now, and if you look at my like grade 8 drawing books, there's always these little mushrooms in the corners of the pages. It's something that kind of like it's not something I just thought. Well, it's been with me for a while, I guess. I don't know from in one way or another, but I've always had it in the back end of my imagination, I suppose.
When did that start to happen? When did that sort of the mushroom figures and just those shapes start to sort of come about?
Well, in glass, it took me maybe in my second year of glass, I started to do mushroom kind of things. It took me like the first year you're kind of learning glass and like you're figuring out
you experimented with some psychedelics, and then you started to really identify with the mushroom and like the mushroom itself.
Well, yeah. Well, funny enough, I've definitely experimented with psychedelics and mushrooms, and even like my first, even before smoking weed, I did mushrooms. Funny enough, it's a weird story. I won't get into it, but I've for a long time known had a connection with mushrooms in a psychedelic kind of sense of having a good time, enjoying it around a campfire or whatever situation you're at, but knowing I've had a lot of friends who had mental health issues, and they were microdosing mushrooms and other like little pills with like echinacea and ginseng and other things in them, and
that's a lot more.
And it was really helping them. It was really helping their anxiety or whatever. So I think now that's really coming about. I think there's a movement right now to get mushrooms legalized across Canada. I'm not sure if you guys are doing the same in the same boat, but there's definitely some really strong medical benefits to that. And I've throughout doing these mushroom pieces, the mycology community, I've kind of reached out a little bit, and I've gotten a lot of comments and praises and whatever, and business through the mycology, and that's been really cool to see that there's a community dedicated to that, and everyone's really, really nice. One guy I've talked to a lot was his Instagram tag Explore the Worlds, and he's a wealth of information on mushroom growing and just the community. It's interesting. He was telling me they like trade spores, like there's a community and they trade spores around the world. Like if he gets some friends in Thailand, they'll send him native mushroom spores from Thailand over there, and he'll germinate them here. And there's a interconnection of spores going around the world. It's pretty cool.
There's a lot of properties, and mushrooms just evolve various sorts. Mushrooms are one of the most interesting things on the planet, really. I've even heard, I'm not the most well-versed in this department, but I've even heard that some people argue that it's like the birth of life, the mushroom itself, that God could be mushrooms, you know what I mean? And again, I mean, this is a subject I myself will speak. I don't know enough about to speak on, but you know.
I don't personally either, but I do know, like, I've scratched the surface on a lot of those. top.
I
And
got
it's
you.
very interesting, and it's something
I'm with you.
fascinated by.
I think we're going to see a lot more of it too in the future. I think we're just like you said. I think the world's just barely scratched the rim, and we're going to see a lot more of it. We're just going to see a lot more research and just pretty much the research we need to see to have whatever we need to know about this.
Yeah,
thing.
it's going to be interesting. I definitely see an opening to psychedelics and of multiple natures in general, not just mushrooms, but also LSD and DMT, whatever. But you know,
Talk
we'll
to me
see
about
how.
your clients. Your clients like the mushroom shapes because a lot of your shapes have the mushroom figure.
Yeah,
integrated
like
into the shape.
when I started doing, I mean, there's a lot of people that do mushroom, other people that do mushroom glass. I mean, Snick Barnes does amazing mushrooms, and just to name one artist, but so many people. And I'd like to think I do mine a little bit differently in terms of how I do my the shaping. But
They're very intricate shapes. They're not simple shapes.
it's yes, it's a to do it well and to really encapsulate the mushroom look. I guess it's a weird. It's fun, and I'm starting to get known for that kind of style, at least around my like the Canada, my Vancouver kind of Canadian glass scene. If you see one of these mushroom pieces, you can kind of like tell it's one of my pieces. So I just wanted to do something for a bit, I guess, that would kind of like you could see a piece and you could see that it was one of my pieces. Like that's what I'm trying to go for right now.
How do you brand them? How can you brand your piece? Is it just like you have to put it out there in a simple form, and then the people who purchase it will know by the design itself that it's from Jay?
I don't know. Like some artists just choose to do branding. Like they'll like do a little deco on their glass or something with their little logo and whatnot.
Gotcha.
I never really liked deckled glass. It's a personal preference, but the pieces that got me into glass were these things that didn't look like they were made by man, and like I don't really like the production style of it. I kind of like to look more artsy, I guess. So I think you have to find something that you can do that defines that you can kind of really hammer down and kind of refine into your own like little style. It doesn't matter if you're doing a regular pipe and you have this certain horn that you do there. I mean, that's a pretty generic thing to do, but you can really refine something so simple to really put a imprint on it, I guess.
I got you. I got you. How long does a piece normally take you? Obviously, it depends on how the piece is going to look before you even start. You know, you have a preconceived idea, I imagine, but how long does a piece take you?
It really depends. Like right now, I'm working on a order for Heady Gallery YYC. They're a really great shop in Calgary. I think one of the best shops in Canada, to be honest. They do a lot of higher end glass, and I'm doing these recyclers for them. I'm not sure you see that there.
Very nice.
But
very nice.
These take me about a day and a half to make. It's
day and a half.
Yeah.
And that's about how many hours in total? That's the whole day you devote. You wake up, you make coffee, and then we're gonna make this piece today, or is it, we're gonna work on it a little more, we're gonna go out at night?
It's a long. I take little breaks in between, but it's a long day. I tentatively wake up late, around 11 o'clock, and I get going. The kiln's got to warm up, and I usually work late. I usually work till 3, in the morning, and then I'll go back to sleep, wake up. I used to wake up earlier, but throughout the winter, I've gone into this bad sleep schedule, I guess, where work late, sleep late.
Nice, man. Hey, walk me through some of the complications that can happen while making these pieces. Is it pretty often that one of these breaks because it's glass you're working with and you're working with tools? How often do you get a mistake happen?
Well, when I first started, and when making a new design, I guess that's when the breaks really start happening. I've kind of got these recyclers down, and this is the simplest style of my recycler. I do more complicated ones. And I really got this down where I haven't had any breaks recently on them. But
Nice.
I've got a huge box of broken pieces in my shop. I call it the box of lost dreams, and it's a bunch of like this bong here. I got when I was making these were particularly hard because it's a quite large amount of glass to be holding on one punty on one side, and I'm doing it by hand. Where lots of the time for a piece this size, it'd be better off to use a lathe. I just don't have it.
Right.
But like the bases on them kept on breaking over and over and over. And I was doing fume work inside. These kind of pieces have a lot of inside out fume work. A lot of the coloring I do with my glass is fume. And I was kind of learning how to do inside out. I was doing surface fume, which is a lot easier before. And with inside out fume work, what you have to do is like pretty much take a tube of glass and you flare out a side of it. And then you get a little piece of silver and a little piece of gold on separate punties, the little glass rods. And you get a little ball of it on the end, and you get a small flame. You get that little piece of silver hot, and you get it inside the glass. And really, flame chemistry and how hot you keep the piece is really crucial in this process. But then once you get the silver, then after the gold inside the glass, I take clear punty again, just a rod of glass. I go and do dots inside the inside the tube, and then you got to work that in. But that process of doing the two dots inside, because it's hard to work in those dots in the first place while you're putting them in. If you don't keep the piece hot enough, it'll just crack. So I had a fun time learning that, but I did.
Man, how long did it take you to finally go into full production running mode when you started? I know you went to the school, but how long did it take for you to get comfortable to start producing your own pieces?
I was producing glass like in my first year. I had my first couple jobs.
Nice, nice.
And the stuff was simpler. I was making pendants first off.
Pendants, nice.
Yeah, a lot of like implosion pendants. And I was making spoon pipes, and the first ones obviously weren't that great, but they were cheap enough. They were bought, and I just kept on. I really, for the first year, and still, like my life's pretty much all glass going right now. I spent a lot of time on the torch, and I just keep on trying to be better than I was yesterday, I guess, and hone in on different aspects of it. And now I feel like I've gotten a lot of what I make to kind of where I want it to be. I mean, I've got there's always a refinement on something. I'm always trying to be better than I was, but a lot of the shapes and different pipes I've got, I really like where they're at.
Hey, nice, man. Like I said, they're really nice designs. So it's real deal business stuff, man. It's ready to get purchased and ready to get used. It's not prototype stuff.
No, not quite. Man.
Yeah, it's great stuff, man. It's great stuff. So walk me through the future of your pieces. What would the ideal situation look like for your pieces? Do you want to someday open your own store? You want to keep making these nice pieces and get even more, intricate with them in the future? What can we expect from Jay?
Well, I'm definitely going to be spending the next few years just learning and trying to come up with new styles. I've been doing a lot of recyclers lately. This year, I want to do more of that work. I've got a couple of really cool ideas, more sculptural work. Like I have this rig design right now that's like kind of like a lady. I call it my goddess piece. And I've got a little bit more like characters that I want to do. I've got some. I don't want to tell you about right now, but I've got some cool ideas coming up. Still gonna be doing mushroom pieces, but in the long run, I'd like to just get my glass out to more places. I kind of have a little map in my room, I set up and like I poke little dots of where I've gone my glass to around the globe, and I just kind of want to cover that globe up.
Where's the best place we have on the dot there? Where's the big accomplishment you see there? Pretty cool.
I'm actually going to be doing a order for now a glass soon. It's a guy who works for Rohr, Germany, and they're I'm making a bunch of bowls from, and if the bowls meet their quality criteria, which I don't think they have any issue with, they're going to do the artist series Rohr kind of collab bowls. So that's pretty cool. I like getting glass in other countries. I don't know, like getting my glass down to the States. I had a artist Derek G Art, I think his tag is on Instagram. He does really cool stuff, and he just redid my logo, and I got a really cool bubbler over to him we did a little trade for it. Just I like anywhere really is cool, but I just like getting my glass into the hands of people and having them really stoked on it. When I was younger, I had those pieces where I really liked them and grew a connection to them. I'd like to think that some of my pieces are getting out there and someone's liking it as much as I did with those pieces. And really, that's what I want to, that's what's really cool to me, I guess. Doesn't matter where they are, but as long as they're well enjoyed. And
hey, absolutely, man. And the artist is coming from, he's a real deal guy. You know, he makes guitars. He went to school for this. He studied this. So you're an artist, man. You are a real artist who produces pieces. So, hey, man, I'd be stoked for sure, man. Those kids are stoked for sure. Like I said, you know, what about like a guitar glass piece? That'd be kind of cool to see.
I've been playing with, there's some sort of idea in the back of my head. I used to share my shop for guitar building with a friend of mine who's still doing guitar building. He's 11 guitars on Instagram, and he does very like Steve Vai-ish shred machine kind of guitars. He was really good at fine tuning a really good electric guitar. But nice. We've been talking about maybe doing a little collab between us where we could incorporate glass work. I kind of did a lot of like fancy abalone inlays, I guess, when I was doing guitar building. I can actually show you one here.
Yeah, please. Let me see. Let's see what you got.
This is my first guitar I ever built. I still keep it around. But if you see, even on my first guitar, you can see where the inspiration is coming from. This is a green abalone weed leaf.
Wow.
And this is a guitar here. It's a beater. I played it a lot on stage, doing little tours across Canada with this band beautiful. I had. But
that's awesome, man. So you got some really creative friends. You're just cooking in this stuff. All these creative juices are everywhere around you.
Yeah, I'd like to take, not always do. I mean, I'm going to be doing and primarily doing pipes and other smoking kind of stuff. But I would like to branch out into doing some more, some different things, like maybe large light fixtures with glass and wood, or guitars, or see where it takes me.
Nice, man. So you must have just a bunch of glass laying around your place. You have a shop. You just glasses everywhere. Where do you keep it all?
Yeah, I've got glass. I've got quite a bit of glass. All my raw materials are down in my shop, and honestly, I've got a few pieces of my own, but most of the glass I have is just glass that's heading out. I have a tendency to not keep anything and stuff. So, and it's just hard to find time to make something for myself. I want to make something for myself sometime soon. I always joke, I can't wait to be able to afford to make myself an Eckardt glass piece. But right now, I've got so many orders to do, and it's hard to find time to just break off and do something for yourself.
Is the business running itself now? Is it all fully run? You're just getting orders now because it's such great work that people are ordering it in. You got it online, they can find it, and you're just like, okay, I got 3 to make.
It's been going really well right now. Like, this is my first year of doing it full time. Before that, I was still working a landscaping and construction job, and it just grew into, yeah, there was a really good reaction to it, I guess, especially doing the mushrooms. That's why I kind of generated to doing more ideas like that. But I work with this it's like a really old pipe shop, glass shop called Puff Pipes. I'm wearing their shirt right now, funny enough. But they're like back in the 90s, or they started in the 90s in Vancouver. And back when I was like in high school, like they were like kind of like the cool shop to go to, one of them at least. And there's only a few at that time. So they're actually a really large glass distributor. I get my raw materials from them, and they're my largest distributor. And a lot of my glass gets out all across North America through them. I think they have 400 shops they distribute my glass to. So keeping them stocked is one thing, and I've got my other orders. I think I've got like at least a 4-month back order right now. I'm kind of trying to work and back down on. So it's going really well. It's just finding the time to do everything. Keep everyone happy.
It sounds like you have great support though with regards to the fact that you work with this shop and they're getting it out for you. It's like you're not even some like Etsy seller really, because it doesn't even seem like you have to handle a lot of the shipping worries, right? Are you even worrying about any of the shipping? How about returns? Somebody says they get a cracked glass. Do you hear about this stuff?
I did actually recently have a cracked piece. Unfortunately, I had a friend's shop. He opened a good friend of mine opened up a dispensary, and there was a piece that he saw. There was one of the bongs, and he shipped it down to the States. It was held up in customs for about a month, and they repacked it poorly, as to what he said to me, and it was cracked. So that was unfortunate, and that's the only time I've ever had an issue with it recently. Well, in my whole span, and it happened recently. And it wasn't my sale. Like I had already sold it to the shop, but it was a friend. So I think what happened is they got a full refund on their piece. I told them that I'd be making one more available at Puff if he wanted it, and I kind of reimbursed the shop as well, so they weren't really out of pocket kind of thing. So it was it's unfortunate when that kind of stuff happens. One thing though, and a reason why I like to use, I'm happy to use Puff and their services and get my glass out to them, is they use a broker of sorts to get the glass across the border in time. Like I shipped a piece on a Thursday to Colorado, and it got there on a Monday, and it was all perfect in one piece and really good service. The guy was stoked. So I think the shipping to the States is a little bit of an issue with Canadian artists, and you just got to find a good way to go about it. Apparently, there's certain avenues you can go down to make sure that your glass or your work gets there safe and sound. I'm happily able to use Puff for that.
Nice, man. Nice. So hey, that's good. You already have these relationships built, and again, these things aren't really your fault. Once you finish them and you send them out, I mean, if they're in one piece, as far as shipping goes, if somebody doesn't wrap that up right, I mean, it's a small, comparatively speaking, piece of glass in a box that these guys, are probably just throwing away and throwing in the back of the truck. So hey, you got to survive as an artist.
It's definitely not my fault, but I like to help when I can and make sure everyone's happy. I like to when I can make it.
Good man. All right, man. Nice. So what else you doing, Jay? It sounds like all you're doing is making glass these days. Are you able to play guitar? Are you able to do anything else for yourself, or is this your life and it's also what you love to do, and you've created a lifestyle around it all?
Right now, glass is all encompassing. For a time, I had this band going for a while with a few good buddies called the Good Times, and we did like little tours around BC and Canada, kind of going across. But we ended up for one reason or another breaking up, and since then trying to get the boys back together, but it's a little difficult with scheduling and this and the other. So honestly, I'm playing myself. I'm not doing that much music anymore, unfortunately. Hopefully that might change, but right now it's like wake up, make food, get in the shop, glass blow or blow glass, and it's all encompassing right now. And I'm just trying to do that to really try and push myself to try and get better, try to be better than I was.
You want to better your craftsmanship with the glass.
Yeah.
Nice, man. And so, are you able to do anything to make it meditational, or is the art itself of glass blowing meditational? You play a little music, or do you really have to focus and zero in on this activity?
No, I love playing music in the shop. Yeah, I'm a big music fan myself. Obviously, I'm a musician, guitar builder. Obviously, love music. So
right. What are you playing when you're at work?
It really depends. I've got a very varied selection. I like a lot of classics. I'm gonna say the best band I love is best band in my mind in the world is the Beatles. But I'm a big fan of kind of Southern music and British music and kind of classics, but some new stuff as well.
A good variety, just a good variety.
Just a good variety from heavy metal to classical. I like something in every.
Heavy metal and classical. Okay, so it varies between there, and I bet it varies even more than that because all of our music playlists have nothing specific. It's all over the place.
Yeah. Today, actually, though, I will say I've been listening to this artist, Valerie June. She just released an album today called, what is it called?
Valerie June.
Right, Valerie June. She's an amazing, such a beautiful singer. The Moon and the Stars, Prescriptions for Dreamers. I'd check it out. Just really sensational music. Really, a lot of textures, smooth, but kind of creates a space. I don't know how to describe it. It's really nice.
Nice, man. Nice. All right. Well, Jay, you're living it, man. You're doing it. You're a craftsman, and you're at work every day with your craft, bettering yourself, and you're sold out. You're backed up. You gotta keep making glass every day. So we don't want to keep you for any longer. What else can we talk about? You have great work. Where can we find your glass?
You can find my glass. My next drop will be at Heady Gallery YYC. You can always find my glass on my Instagram. There's a link to puffpipes.com, and they ship anywhere in the world. They can wholesale orders as well as just do single orders, for customers. And I think after that, I'll be doing an order for a shop in Nova Scotia, a unique boutique. And I can't think of the other ones coming up, but there's a few of them.
Okay, so for our worldwide listeners, if they want to find you, they can find you on Instagram. And then
that's the best place. Yeah. Instagram, okay. Eckardt Glass, the Great Canadian Glass Gathering. It was hosted by this artist, Redbeard Glass. Pretty well known. Yeah, Redbeard Glass. He's a pretty well known OG in the Vancouver or the Canadian glass scene, I guess. And he was for many years. Unfortunately, this was the last year that they're going to be doing it. But this was made with Phil Glassworks. He's a guy from Saskatchewan, really, really nice guy, and a good friend of mine, Intent Glass. And he's from around here, and we tend to work together quite a few times. And he does really nice line work and whatnot. And Phil did the faces. I'm not sure if you can see those faces there, but there's 3 faces on the top of this mushroom, and the whole bottom of it's UV. All these mushrooms glow in black light.
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah, I've got these recyclers. And the function on these are great.
Oh yeah, that's fully functional right there. I was about to ask you that. Not only is that an art piece, but there's some functionality aspects you have to contribute into creating the piece, and that's awesome, man. How do you get into that and just create those chambers and all that stuff right there? You know,
That's really the art, especially with recyclers. I find like that's kind of like one of the harder things to make as a glass blower. And you have to do a couple really trick things like Jesus seals and whatnot. And to get the dimensions down, there's a certain, you got to have the drain going down should be thinner than your uptake going up. And your funnel needs to be a certain diameter wide to down to get that nice kind of suction. Like a good recycler, in my mind, this is just my opinion, but in my mind, you suck up and then it creates a vacuum and then it kind of comes down. So once you kind of get the water going, it works effortlessly. And obviously you don't want any splash, and so having a splash guard kind of on the top here really helps. And that has to be a certain width and height. And there's a lot of little factors that go into making a good functioning piece.
all right, Jay, it's been an absolute pleasure. You've offered us your words, your wisdom, and we've just heard a lot about your process, so I really appreciate it.
Awesome. It's my pleasure talking with you. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
All right, man. Take care.
Right on.